how's it going, everybody? It's Josh Thomas here from TheBitBlock, and today I am going to do the impossible, and I am going to try and predict a good amount of Nintendo's launch lineup games for the Nintendo NX. I should say launch window. So I'm going to predict what I think could logically be the launch window games that Nintendo will release for the NX. Let's get right into this. By the way, of course, leave a comment below and let me know what you think could be the games that will release within like the first 6 to 8 months of the NX being out. Hopefully I remember to edit that sneeze out. If I didn't, then you just got a free sneeze for the price of none. Listen, first off, let's get over the obvious stuff. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is obviously going to be a launch title for Nintendo NX. It's going to be amazing. Oh my god, the game looks so darn fun and beautiful, and I can't wait to run around and burn things. Clearly, that's going to be a launch game. We know that. Pikmin 4, I think we pretty much know beyond a shadow of a doubt that game is going to be a launch game on Nintendo NX. I think it'll be like launch window. Maybe it'll come out like a few months after the NX releases. The Nintendo NX is releasing in March of 2017, so I could definitely see Pikmin 4 being like a summer game, maybe in late June, sometime in July. I think that's definitely going to happen. We know that it's very far in development. We know that Mr. Miyamoto said it's nearly completed, which was a year ago, so I think that's definitely been moved over to Nintendo NX, and I think it's very far along, and I think they're going to save that for the summertime, a little bit after the NX launches, but that is still launch window, so yeah. There's a couple more that I wanted to mention that I think are logical to do, but we really don't necessarily have any evidence that they would do this. There were some rumors, but they weren't very strong rumors. They weren't coming from a very reliable source, but I think Nintendo is going to port Super Mario Maker, and I think they're going to port Super Smash Bros. To the NX. They're not going to be completely new games, but they will have some new content. So I think Super Mario Maker is something that was a big success for them. They put a lot of time into it, and I think that Nintendo feels Super Mario Maker could be bigger than it was. It was a big success, but I think they're like, oh, we did all this work with this. It's such a great project. We added so much to it. Let's bring that over. Let's keep it going to the NX. I think it'd be smart to do that. I think people would buy that game on NX. I'm sure they'll have some new content, maybe add in some new tile pieces like for a desert world, jungle world, lava stuff, maybe the ability to put water tiles above land, that kind of thing. Still some room to add stuff to that, but not necessarily enough things that would warrant making a complete sequel. So I think an upgraded port for Super Mario Maker will probably happen on NX. And of course, a lot of the rumors for NX are suggesting that it is going to be having some sort of little screened controller that you can take with you. So I think that'll work with Super Mario Maker. Super Smash Bros., I think it would be smart for them to say, hey, you know what? Sakurai probably really doesn't want to make a full-blown Super Smash Bros. Game anytime soon, so why not just take what we did on the Wii U, take what we did on the 3DS, put them together into one game, update the 3DS stuff, maybe add in some new characters like Inklings, for example, and that would be it. That would be amazing. People would buy it. It would be great. It would also benefit from having probably some better online as well. So even though I think the online is pretty good in the Wii U version, still could be a little bit better, so I'd like to see that happen. So I think those two ports are a good chance of coming to the NX, and I think that they would put those towards the beginning of the system's life. So yeah, I can see that happening in the launch window. So I think the new 3D Mario game that Mr. Miyamoto has teased will be launch window. I think we will see a new exciting 3D Mario adventure later this year when they fully reveal the NX to us, and I think that is going to be launch window. It might come out, I mean, I imagine that would be holiday 2017. I guess that might not be launch window anymore, but I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to say that's still launch window. First year is launch window, according to me, even though that might technically not be true. I have to scroll down here because there's another point I want to make. Okay, I think Mario Kart is going to be launch window for Nintendo NX. Why in the world do I think that? Well, I think that because traditionally there hasn't been a very big gap between Mario Kart releases. There's not necessarily a pattern, but let's go through this. So first of all, Super Mario Kart launched in 1992. Then in 1996, 4 years later, we got Mario Kart 64. Then, 5 years later, which I believe is the biggest gap between Mario Kart releases, we got Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance. That was in 2001. Double Dash released in 2003, which was a 2-year difference between that. Then a 2-year difference between the Nintendo DS version. After the Nintendo DS version of Mario Kart, we got the Wii version, which was a 3-year difference in 2009. Then Mario Kart 7 came out in 2011. That was a 2-year difference. And then there was a 3-year difference between that when Mario Kart 8 released. So traditionally, there is a 2 to 3 year gap between Mario Kart releases. Mario Kart 8 released in 2014. It is, of course, 2016. So it's been 2 years this summer since Mario Kart released. So I would say next summer we could get a Mario Kart game for the NX because that would be 3 years since the previous Mario Kart. Like I said, it's not a complete, there's no science involved here necessarily, but it's clear there's not always a big gap between releases, and the biggest gap was 5 years, and that happened a long, long time ago. The N64 game and the Game Boy Advance game. So I'm saying that it is very logical to believe we will get a new Mario Kart for the NX next summer, launch window of the NX. And I think that's true. Like, whenever Nintendo shows a new system, they're always talking about Mario Kart very soon after. You know, before the 3DS came out, they were talking about Mario Kart 7. No, were they? I feel like we got screenshots from Mario Kart 7 right when they were talking about the 3DS, but I might be wrong on that. Nevertheless, very soon after a system releases, they usually like to get Mario Kart out there. It sold really well in North America. Mario Kart 8 sold like nearly 4 million copies in North America, and it's got a total of about 7 million copies worldwide. So I think they're going to want to get that out. Even on the Wii U, which was a failure financially, Mario Kart still did really well. So I think Mario Kart's going to be ready. And then, fine, I got to go scroll back up here. Finally, I do want to say this. This is my last guess. It's been a while since we've heard from Retro Studios. We do not know what Retro Studios is working on. We do know that Retro Studios is a big development team, and Mr. Miyamoto has actually once said that he feels Retro Studios is big enough to be working on 2 games at once. So I think Retro Studios, the last time we saw a game from them was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and that was in 2014, the beginning of 2014. So it's been over 2 years since they've released a game. I think that we will be seeing a game from Retro Studios in the launch window of the Nintendo NX, and I think there's a decent chance we will see it at the end of this year when they reveal the NX, and if not the end of this year, I think we will definitely see it at next year's E3, and I think it'll probably release holiday of 2017. And like I said, I am foolishly and incorrectly considering holiday of 2017 launch window still. I don't think it is. I think launch windows, well, there's no definition of what launch window is. I mean, Nintendo said that Pikmin 3 was launch window for the Wii U. That came out like a year later, if not more, like a year and a half. So, yeah. Those are my picks. To recap, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, no duh. Pikmin 4, that's another one that's like, nah, no duh. New 3D Mario game. I think it's going to happen. I think it's been a long time. I don't really count Super Mario 3D World as being a really true 3D Mario adventure. It was an okay game, but it just lacked that excitement and that freshness that we expect from a big Mario release. So I think we're going to get a new big Mario game. I also think there will be parts for Super Mario Maker, and also Super Smash Bros. Deluxe. I think Mario Kart is going to be announced for NX. And by the way, just to further my prediction, Mario Kart NX is going to actually be a Nintendo All-Stars game where you get to race as Kirby and Star Fox characters and Metroid and F-Zero and Pikmin and Animal Crossing, and you get to race in worlds that are based on them and karts that are based on them. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they were testing it out with Mario Kart 8 with that DLC. And I think they're going to go full-blown into it with the NX version. And I'm big thumbs up there. Also, please, make a battle mode. Oh my god, Nintendo. Please, put a lot of effort into the battle mode. It's a great mode. Give us a mission mode, too. And then finally, Retro Studios. We're going to see what's up with them. I don't know. Will it be Metroid? Maybe. I mean, this is the 30th anniversary of Metroid. Nintendo does like to celebrate anniversaries of their games. Not traditionally Metroid, though. I don't think Metroid Prime Federation Force is really a good way to celebrate the series' 30th anniversary. It's kind of a bad way to celebrate it, if you ask me. But yeah, we'll see what's up with Retro. So leave your predictions in the comments below, guys. What do you think will be the launch window games for the Nintendo NX? Just to put some rules here, let's say the first year. That's what we're considering the launch window. In the first year of the Nintendo NX being out, what games do you think we will be able to play? All right. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'm also on a whole bunch of social media. You can find those links below, like Instagram, Twitter, and I got a Tumblr and all that stuff. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for chatting with me. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.